I remember being in a boardroom of sorts. I was facilitating a session and I said something that was really original. It was a creative idea that kind of removed the conflict everybody was in and really cool. And there was this quiet, and I was the only woman in the room, and there was this quiet energy. And then this guy said almost word to word what I had just said. And everybody went, "Whoa, what a great idea. This is such a fantastic idea." And I remember feeling like 5 years, and I didn't take a stand and said, "You mean that thing I just said?"
Yes.
I couldn't stand by my inner younger girl somehow. And I sat down and I celebrated that this guy said that. And I also rationalized and I said, well, as long as the idea is a good idea, let's go with that,
But as you're saying that, I almost feel sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
There's just this little because what you're doing is swallowing.
Yes, and abandoning.
And it's so interesting. There's a wonderful organization that's called Mighty Girls, and they publish ways for girls to grow up to be women of muchness. And they were talking about 3 phrases that all girls should learn how to say. And one of them was, "I just said that."
So it's a trend.
So you're recognizing, and there also was a cartoon that I still have. I'll have to take a picture of it and post it. And it's a board meeting where there's one woman in the meeting, and the head guy is just saying, "That's a wonderful idea. Maybe I should have one of the men say that." So it's exactly what you were.
Now.
Yeah. So what you're tapping into is a theme that I bet that many, many people share and experience.
So having been around you for as many years as I've been, I also know about not being a victim of the thing, and not letting it. So they're not doing it to me, really. I mean, I'm in that room, and I'm not speaking for myself. Right? I'm not somehow right. I'm participating.
You're participating in a context. Mm-hmm. And I think what we're talking about is not individual blame, but shifting a context where people's ideas get validated regardless of their gender.
Of where they come from. Yeah. So I wonder, the younger generation feels a little different. There was this young woman, Annalie Waters, who's the world champion of pickleball. And she started being the champion when she was, I think, 12 in the women's, not in the kids thing, as playing with women, that were older. And I see none of that in her, not in an obnoxious way either. She's the best player there is. She's absolutely comfortable. Like you see her actually with the trophy and standing by her success in a way that's really, so maybe the younger generation is taking on something a little more that maybe was not the context of our growing up, possibly.
Well, I hope so, because the context of our growing up, and when I look back at my mother's generation,
even worse.
It was absolutely about, the man is up front. You're supporting the man. You're not really even there. You're just serving the hors d'oeuvres.
All right. So I just said that is really a good one. I'm gonna take that on as when I notice it, because I think what happens for me is I go into possibly what could be rage. Like when you said it makes me sick to my stomach, I think it really does, cause I've learned to tame it. I could see that. And so if I were to say something, I feel like it would really ride on a, not a good thing. Like it would be quite rageful, although maybe it should be.
Well, maybe it should be rageful, because that's the other part of, this incredible kind of catch-22 is you can't say anything, because then you would the B word, then you would be raging, and then they'd say, "Look at her, she's being emotional and hormonal." And if you don't say anything, then you get walked over. Yes. And so there's really what I think we need to do is to invent new ways to express equality.
Yes.
And one of them, just the simple, "I just said that."
Yeah.
I mean, to practice that, because How many times have I don't think I've ever heard a woman say that.